Yo, welcome back to our first Football Unfiltered first episode to the year. Today we're not here to break down a match or argue about the lineup. We're here to do something simpler. Why we love the game of soccer. Because soccer is the only game that make us feel like kids again and also make us lose our mind in the same 90 minutes. So I'm here with my co-host Alain Levier. Happy New Year, brother. How are you?
I'm great, Coach. Happy New Year, man. I hope you had a great New Year celebration.
Oh yeah, it was a good year. It was a good year. It started with a bang. Obviously, my Hurricanes, play against Ohio State and had a
Yeah.
wonderful win. So I can't wait to watch him play on Thursday and see what happened on Thursday. But Ole Miss it's gonna be a different ball game. So I'm excited to watch the game. So it was good to have to spend New Year's Eve that way and that happy and start the year like that. Obviously we're healthy. The family is healthy. That's the most important thing. So how was your New Year?
No, my New Year was great. Spent it with some family and friends, so it was a blessing. Watched a few games. I had a question. Speaking of the Miami game, what's this deal with uh Michael Johnson? Like always, like at the end of the game, he take out his belt. No, Michael Irving, sorry,
Uh,
from Dallas Cowboys. He takes a jersey out, he takes his belt and start whipping, the jerseys of the opposite team. What's this deal, Coach? I don't understand. Are we back to the 1800s? What's that?
hey man, it's called BTA, man, which is belt to ass. So they whooping every team's butt. It just try to be funny, man. So it's just like
Okay.
after the game, we're just gonna come out the belt, and then just
Mm.
stop whooping people. Just like we said when I just started, is soccer is that one game that make us feel like a kid again, right? So if we're talking about whooping, it kind of reminds us of when we were kids. So let me ask you, Anne, what was your earliest soccer memory?
Wow, that's a very good question. My early soccer memory was, I remember that was the World Cup in 1986 in Mexico.
Okay.
That's my earliest memory where I think I could put back those images together that I knew there was a World Cup going on. I've
Hmm.
seen soccer games, I will say prior to that, but I didn't know what was happening. There was a lot of Spanish speaking because back in the days, you had Univision. That was one of those main channels, sharing the game. So I used to hear a lot of talking really, really fast. And then
Yeah,
when they score a goal, it was go, go, go. And I was okay, what is that? And
yeah,
then I used to see my dad, gathering, watching, the game. And then gradually, I have to be honest with you. I remember Argentina winning that World Cup that year against Germany because it was on a Sunday and it was at a family gathering. And all my uncles were there, my grandparents, all the cousins. And I remember everybody being happy. And yes, so that's where I can honestly tell you that I started, putting things together for soccer. Before I didn't know it was soccer, but now after this World Cup, I understood that yeah, that's something meaningful. World Cup, Maradona, Argentina, and so forth.
yeah. Yeah, I know that's your earliest soccer memory or football memory because we grew up calling it football, not soccer. Uh, so when did you fall in love with the game?
Well, I fell in love with the game when my dad introduced me to Pele.
Hmm.
Okay, so what he used to do, he used to record a lot of those. And if you guys don't know what a VHS is, that was back in the days we used to use a VHS system, and you have those big tapes. You play in a video tape machine. So he
Yeah.
used to pre-record a lot of those World Cup games, And then there was a documentary about the 1970 World Cup and Pele and what he did. And then he started talking to me about Pele, about Brazil, and and then I was able to kind of put meaning to it. And
Yep.
then school, we played a lot of soccer at school, so I knew what soccer was. I knew that, okay, I played that game at school with my friends at a younger age, and then now I'm at home and I'm being educated about the game. I'm being educated about, you know, the history of the game and
Hmm.
some of those major players that were part of the game. And I think for me, that's how I was able to connect what I used to play in school versus what the game was about. And then, gradually, I was part also of what you call, we had a soccer camp in school where, every weekend we played,
It was
every
a soccer
Saturday,
academy, man.
a
It was a
soccer
football.
academy. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Don't call it
That
camp,
was a
man.
football academy. Yeah. So
Yeah,
every Saturday, we were 7 years old. I remember you and I and a lot of our friends,
yeah.
we met and we played. And then for me, that was religion. Like I couldn't wait to go on Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 11:30, and then that was it. That was the thing every Saturday morning. I remember there was a few Saturdays where, I couldn't go because either I had my mom had some appointments or we had some doctor appointments. I used
Yeah.
to be in tears because didn't want to miss those sessions. So yeah, I will say at an early age, connecting the history, connecting the games that we play at school and the soccer academy, putting all this together made me fall in love with the game.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, soccer is not a sport. It's part of a culture, and for people, for the viewers have been watching us, for the last couple months, and how passionate we get when we talk about Brazil and Argentina and so on. But it's because it's part of a culture. It's part of our DNA, and when soccer, people, it's sad to say that, but we have Haitians losing their lives over games. So we thought that, soccer was the way of life, because, you go in the streets, guys are playing in the streets. Alain, we used to play with bottle
Mm,
of Juna, that's what,
it's
and then
still,
every time somebody step on the bottle and crush it, game is over. So think about it. We had no ball, and when we finally, if we start reminiscing of our early childhood, if uh, we start having, let's say, when they were able to give us an actual ball, I think it was like was it third grade or fourth grade when they actually give us a ball, and it was the best gift we could have had at school, so we can actually play with a ball. But before that, we used to play with empty bottles and stuff like that, and then play for like for 2 hours, So, but it's it's not a sport, like I said, it's more like a culture to us. And if I gotta go back, what make me fall in love with the game was Diego. So when I watched the World Cup in 1986, that was my first recollection of soccer, to the World Cup spectacle, right? Everybody glued to the TV and watch it. But when I really understood the magnitude of the World Cup was in 1990, right? So 4 years later in 1990, that was really our first World Cup per se, that we know that, okay, the World Cup is coming. 86, we didn't know. It just happened that it was happening, and we got to watch it and we got introduced to it. But 1990 was the first World Cup that we anticipate, especially watching the Calcio in Haiti with Napoli and
yeah,
AC Milan and Juventus and all and everything that we grew up watching. But 1990 was really a party for us, and that's when you understand. That's where then we understood how much soccer meant for people of Haiti. like when Argentina and Brazil were playing, the whole country stopped. Nobody went to work. Every If you were at work, you come home early just to watch the game. So that's where we were like, man, this is not a sport. This is part of our DNA. This is a culture,
It's
and I
religion, man. It's a cult.
it's a cult, right? And
It's a cult.
obviously we got to watch the Casio, and then we saw the Tifosi, as they used to call them, the excitement, how those guys were getting excited when they were watching those games. So yes, it's big. It's more than a sport. It's what we do. It's a religion, like you said, or cult, if you want to use the word cult. So can you explain to me, or can you go back to your memory land and think about the moments that make us believers in the game of soccer?
Believers, man. That's a that's a strong word, man. It's I think what you said about the 1990 World Cup, I think you are on point. But before I go to 1990, I can tell you that the period between 86 and 90 for me was a learning phase because during that period we had the European Nations Cup where the Netherlands won it in 1988. That's where I was introduced to Van Basten, Wood Gullit, Frank Rijkaard. Those
Yeah,
guys were playing in AC Milan. Like to your point, you talk about the Italian tournament, right?
yeah,
Like a calcio. So I was able to connect the dots. It was for me exciting to see those guys play every Sunday. And when we had the European Cup, to see them play in their countries. And then we had also the Copa America of 1989. I think Brazil won that Copa America, right?
yeah,
So for me, it's
mhm,
like, keep in mind, I'm moving from 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And by the time we are 1990 in Italy for that World Cup, I already knew most of those major players because I
yeah,
used to see them every Sunday. So for me, to your point, why made me a believer is when I started feeling really vested in those tournaments. I started, you know, having that desire. I know on Sundays I go to
yeah,
church. I gotta
mhm,
hurry quick, to go start watching those games at 9 a.m. So
yeah,
my mom used to make me, all right, you want to watch soccer? You better go to that 6 a.m. mass. So I used to go to mass at 6 a.m. in the morning or 7 a.m. just to make sure I come back and watch Milan, watch Napoli. Diego. And I'm going to be honest with you. When
yeah,
Argentina won the World Cup in 1986, I wasn't an Argentina fan. I was a Maradona fan. I was
yeah,
a Diego fan. I don't
yeah,
know what happened in the middle. I think my dad had a strong influence and convinced me to switch to Brazil because one of my uncles was also a Diego fan. It made sense. You had Buruchaga, you had Valdano, you had Diego Maradona. That was the 86 crew. So I
yeah,
grew up from that era knowing those guys, knowing the names of the players. And I think when you put all this together, that started making me feel like a believer because I really knew those players. So that was
yeah.
my personal experience.
Yeah, and I thought there was a switch too. So yeah, I agree with you. Like I remember back in 1986, most Haitian were rooting for Argentina.
Yes,
So, and
yes.
then the way they were looking at it, they were looking from a continent perspective.
Mhm.
They were like, Argentina is in the South America, or we call it the
Mhm.
American continent. So everybody was rooting for Argentina against the European countries, right? So I think when the switch happened was the 1990 World Cup when Argentina played Brazil and Argentina beat Brazil in Italy, and then I think that's where the whole rivalry started among Haitians when it comes to
Yeah.
Argentina and Brazil. So think about it. Brazil beat Argentina in 1989 Copa America. It wasn't a big of a deal, right? It wasn't a big of, but the 1990 World Cup was where we start having the animosity between Argentina fans and Brazilian fans in Haiti per se. But and I think that's where the whole rivalry started for real in Haiti. But I think in 1986, everybody, like I said, 1986, everybody loved Diego. Diego was so loved. I mean, the way he played the game, he has so much flair, And I think people saw in Diego, especially people that didn't have the chance to watch Pele because they were not born or they were not old enough,
Hmm.
and then they thought that seeing what Diego was doing was the closest they got to Pele. So that's why a lot of people uh, root for Diego when he started, and then went to Napoli and started with the underdog story. When you know Napoli was one of the worst team and Diego put him on top, so it's such a great story. So for me, what made me start being a believer in soccer was I play the game myself and I love the game. And it's just like when you watch the game and then you actually go play with your friends or you play in a team and then you start replicating what they were doing. And I was like, man, I can be good at playing this game or this game is so fun. And so for me, that's what made me fall in love and make me a believer in that game. And we're just like, man, I never experienced that much joy when I'm doing something. Think about it. When you play soccer, it's a very demanding sport. Like, from a stamina standpoint, you run a lot, you get kicked, you get kicked or you get beat up. But because you love the game so much, because it's so much fun, you don't even realize that. I mean, you can go and play and run for 2 hours or 3 hours, and then you didn't think that you were running for that much. Compare that if you ask me, hey, go run for 2 hours, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But if you tell me, hey, go play soccer for 2 hours, I will still do it. So that's what I'm saying. And for me, it was just like trying to replicate what you saw on TV. Those guys were doing, and then you go in and play. And then I think for me was it's the first feel is the feeling that I felt. Uh, not the feeling that I felt. What I felt when I first scored a goal, the excitement that I got when I scored my first goal, and I was like, man, this is amazing. I love this game, and for fast forward, Alan. So we grown now. So we got people watching us say, look at all these grown men talking about soccer. They're not playing no more. So what soccer gives us today?
Well, soccer gives us a lot. I think for me, I can speak as a parent. I can tell you, soccer. I've seen how soccer has uh, helped me raise my son. In the sense that he has become a very successful and disciplined young man because at an early age he loved the sport. He We made sure to support him. He was enrolled in several academies at a young age. Soccer gives you a lot of discipline. The waking up early, getting ready to go to those games, the traveling part. We travel across the state, right?
Mhm,
Christopher was always ready on time. He was always telling me, "Hey, we have a game tomorrow. Let's get ready." He would wake up like at 5 in the morning, make sure that things were set, and he kept that discipline throughout, his childhood. Today, he graduated, and I can tell him he still works out. He still plays soccer for fun, but
mhm,
I can tell you that's what I feel like soccer gave him. And also as a parent, it gave me the opportunity to bond with him because I've been able to kind of share my experiences. You talked recently about the 1990 World Cup. You always find ways to make me emotional and angry about Argentina. That was that game, Argentina versus Brazil. That pass that Diego gave to Caniggia, and he scored that 1-0 goal against Brazil. After the game, I remember me crying. Me and my father were in tears. I was like 10 years old. My dad was older, and my mom was looking at us like making fun of us. Like, what are you guys wrong with you guys? And that's at that moment that I feel like, oh my goodness, I'm I love Brazil. I'm a Brazilian fan, and that's how this thing started. And you're right, you brought it home. That World Cup solidify I would say, the rift between Argentina fans and Brazilian fans. So yeah. So to answer to your questions, go back to what you were saying. Yes, I think I've been able to share those stories with my son, telling him about Argentina, Brazil.
Yeah.
But the difference with Christopher, uh, he's American. His team is USA. He doesn't understand what are you guys talking. He always tells you, but you guys are Haitians. Why you guys are even supporting Brazil, Argentina? Why don't you guys support Haiti? Say, well,
Right.
it's kind of complicated. So it's a whole different conversation
Hey,
about this.
hey, we have this opportunity this year, bro. This is the year for us to do
Yes, for the first time ever, we are gonna see Haiti in the World Cup. So we're yeah, it's a blessing. I'm excited, man. It's beautiful.
No, you hit it right on, man. Like for me, I play soccer throughout my uh, the entire childhood, and also I
Mm.
play in high school. I play a little bit in college, but you know, it's you right. And one of the things that I can carry with me today with soccer is the discipline, right? The discipline aspect of it, not only from a workout standpoint to stay fit, but also and to the point that you always looking at how to get better and everything you do in life because when it comes to sport you can't keep because you can reach a plateau in sports because your competition is gonna take you over, right? So you always try to find ways to kind of innovate yourself. You try to find ways to make yourself better, and I think it helps me also in the real world with that kind of discipline to start applying some of the uh, one of the things that I learned playing soccer also in my life. So I believe that as you mentioned, what it did for Chris, it's not from the perspective of the bond between father and son, but also the discipline that comes with it, the confidence, right? As an athlete, you have to be confident. Because if you're not confident, your opposition is gonna kill you, right? So you have to play, even though you know the opposition is better than you, but you have to have the mindset like, hey, I'm the best on the field. So and also it carries in the real world because sometimes you might have imposter syndrome. You'd be like, man, I don't think I'm the right person for the job, or you intimidated by what comes with the job. But the fact that you be like, no, I'm gonna go to it, I'm gonna stick to it, I'm gonna keep working at it, and that's how you get the experience. That's how you get better at it. So and I think that for us, when we're looking at what it gives us, it kind of shaped the person we are today, right? It's just like the passion we love with a lot of passion. So we express ourselves in a passionate way. So and I think all this had to do with soccer. So hey, ladies out there and wives out there, so if you see your husband expressing themselves in a passionate ways because of the love of the game, even though they would say they would say the difference. But anyway, not try to open something and close, but I think those are the things that I feel like it gives us is the bond. I got the bond with my father. Right now, I'm having the same bond with my son. It's funny that today. Uh, Real Madrid was playing, and 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 something came up, and I had to do something, so I wasn't watching the game, but the game was on, and my son Mateo, he watched the game, and the whole game, and by the time I got back to the game was over. And he was proud to tell me, "Hey, Dad, I watched the entire game, and Real Madrid won 5-1." I was like, "Good, finally, you finally sit
Wow,
down and watch the game."
the kids
So
don't watch games anymore.
yeah, he told me that he watched the entire game and hey, and was able to give me the score. But anyway, so for me, like you mentioned, those are the things that I feel like soccer gives us today. As we are more mature. The one thing I would say though, the way I used to looking at the game, I don't look at the game the same way no more. So, back then I used to get depressed when my team loses, but now I don't get that way anymore. So I was like, okay,
Come on, I don't believe you. I do
uh,
not believe you, coach. The
no,
only
no,
reason why you don't feel depressed because Argentina won the World Cup in
no,
2022.
no, no.
Just
Don't get
tell
me
you,
wrong.
man.
Don't get me wrong. I go to the excitement. I go to the stress level, but I remember Alain, and it's for all the fans out there. In 2014, when Argentina lost against Germany in the final in Brazil, I went to a month of depression. I was depressed. I was depressed
I
for
was
1 month.
happy.
I was depressed for 1 month. And I was just like, and then I think that was the haha moment. I was like, man, I can't let this game put me down like that. And I think one thing that happened as well too, I started coaching, and when you started coaching, you start, and then now you see things from a different perspective, right? Because yeah, there are games that we lost, and I beat myself up. I was like, man, and I tried to replay the whole game in my head, and I was like, man, I should have done that. I should have pulled this guy earlier, or I should have changed the formation. And I think one thing that I learned from it is it helped me to cope with it faster. So I
Hmm.
was just like, you know what, I can't keep feel sorry for me, right? The team depends on me, so I gotta move on. So so I think with the fact that I was coaching, and then now I was like, man, I gotta look at it from a different perspective. So yes, do I get upset my team lose? Of course. I mean that will never change. But I think the way I used to feel after 1 month, and I was like, man, I don't think I would never find that chance again. That was the best opportunity for my team to win, and they blew it. I don't think that way anymore. So
Good,
just just keep
good.
just keep moving on. So now I wanted to ask. Obviously, we want to ask our fans, our viewers, if they can drop a comment, or if they can tell us something, if they're watching us right now. What was the moment for you guys when you be like, man, this is the game that I love. I love this game. Or all the question I've been asking Alan, what was that moment for you when you realized that, man, this game make me a believer, and I'm gonna keep watching the game. Whether it's the EPL, whether it's La Liga, the Champions League, or the World Cup, I'm gonna keep watching this game. So please drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, and also we also on Spotify. Make sure you subscribe as well. So Ale, now that we kind of talk about the love of the game, so how do we want the fans to look at us this year from a football unfiltered standpoint?
That's a very good question. I will say, coach, I want the fans to look at us like, again, two two men who loves the game, trying to share their perspectives, trying to bring something, how they feel, their passion to them. Um, I think from a tactical standpoint, you have the expertise. You're the coach, so you can always bring and share that dynamic. This year, for me, I'm not a coach, but also I love the game. I can always bring that other aspect. I mean, from a fan standpoint, from a business standpoint, also, I like to see like how soccer is continuing to cross over, especially in the US. That's a market that intrigues me. So I will say they should expect from us, continued passion, a lot of debates and conversations. One thing I think we should do this year is continue to have like more guests to kind of have more people bring their perspectives, and I know we're working on interviewing one of our old classmates. I think that's something we need to definitely make happen, this year, and then people like that. So I think there's going to be a lot of different types of topics we'll talk this year. The topics will be richer. We'll try to cover as many grounds as possible, but most importantly, what we're asking is for your participation and your contribution. So, ladies and gents, if you can, drop some comments. Send us, emails or whatever you want. Tell us what you want to see, what you would like to see more. Share your feedback or input. That way we can make this show a bit more fun and exciting for everybody.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. Yeah, we want to open up to more people. So
Mm-hmm.
last year we have a lot of guests, and then we have guests that participate with us on a regular basis. But yes, we want to open up to more guests. Like I said, we don't know. We looking at it from we're not journalists. We're not we're not expert. We just love the game. So we always welcome people that feel the same passion about the game and then want to share it on this platform. And that's what we want to do is just use this platform for people to get to talk about soccer. That's the best thing ever, right? You get to talk about soccer and then you're never wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Just talking. So yes, we want we welcome a lot of guests. Yeah, our goal this year is to do this in a year round soccer. We're gonna have our weekly episodes. We're gonna go crazy about a lot of post game. Especially when with the Champions League and now the leagues are backs now. The European leagues are backs. And obviously, this is the World Cup year, so we can't wait to to get into that. Comes World Cup time. Again, we're just not gonna do it because we think it's trendy, but we just do it because we genuinely love the game. That's how we do it. That's why But a year ago when we got together, we be like, man, let's try to do this, and then let's try to bring some viewers that would love to think the way we think and be like, hey, what's the best way to just have a couple of good friends and talk about soccer on this platform? So that's how we do it, and we wanted to open up to more people as well too. In this coming year, we have some big things going on. Obviously, we have some merch, football unfiltered merch as well too. That that we're selling. So if you're interested, you're a fan, and then you want to get a part of the merch, just drop us a comment, and we'll tell you how to get to the merch. But at the end of the day, this is not what we want. Is not to sell shirts. It's just to sell. We want to give you the experience, right? Now we want you to come up every Sunday or every week, and if you missed it, you can go to a YouTube channel or a Spotify channel. Just listen to what we talk, because what we want to do is bring joy and just we got some comedy as well too, because sometimes Alain try to be very funny. Especially when he gets to talk about Neymar, he likes to be very funny. But the thing is, we wanted to make it as fun as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and we are very excited about 2026. And I hope that you guys are excited to take the road with us. It's a journey. We're not gonna stop, and we want you to be part of this journey with us. So, Alain, any last any last comments you want to add, or what you want the fans to tell us going forward?
No, I think you covered a lot of things. I think really one thing we want to do also, guys, we want to open this up to. I know Coach Josh showed you some merch from Soccer Unfiltered, but we are also opening up to sponsors. Like if you guys have different types of businesses, any messages you want to share, and you want to leverage your platform, feel free to reach out to us. We'll definitely work with you. We'll definitely try to break out. So the idea here, guys, is to use our platform, yes, to talk about soccer, like Coach said, but also to help, you know, a lot of young businesses, new ventures out there. Let's leverage each other to build that network
Yep.
that we have, so we can connect with different communities. All right, so we have a diverse background, and we're welcoming a lot of different people to this. So if you know anyone that are interested, anyone that are willing to come and join us and talk about their businesses, talk about their products, talk about anything else, please reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to have you guys over. So this year we are trying to position us. to position this group here a little bit more out there, trying to be more competitive. Not in a bad way. I know people don't like the word competitive, but it is what it is. We're America, right? So anything we can do to help, create awareness, create some branding, we're here for that. So it's not only about soccer, but we're trying to cover multiple grounds this year.
Yep, well said. So, lastly, if you're listening or watching us right now, you are part of this family. So, comment your why you love this game,
Mhm.
and if you're new here, subscribe because we're doing this all year. Same love, same passion, same unfiltered takes. So this today we wanted to get a different approach. I know the leagues are starting back up. We just didn't want to talk about what happened this weekend with the Barcelona and the Real Madrid of the world, or other Chelsea just lost the head coach. So we will be covering those as we go along. But this time, especially, it was the first episode of the year. We wanted to make sure that we talk about why, and our why is we love this game, and that's our why. We love this game. We love talking about the game, and so we wanted to start the show this year with show talking about our why. So we hope that you give us our why, your why, so we can keep growing. We can keep growing, like Alan mentioned a couple seconds ago, a couple minutes ago. We got to keep growing, and we wanted the show to be your show and the show that bring you joy and fulfillment. So until then, Alan, I appreciate you tonight, man. That was a very good. I know that I brought some kind of make you go back to memory lane, talking about the 1986 and 1990 World Cup. But this is what we about, man. Unfiltered takes.
Yes, sir.
All
It was
right,
a pleasure having you too, Coach.
all right. So I wish you a good night. So I'll talk to you next week.